But our little tribe matters so much to us. And we didn't want to just tell them, suck it up, buttercup, we're leaving, this is how we're doing it. We really wanted to go through it with them and really explain to them how God is moving in our immediate family. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey guys, welcome back. Podcast number 13, continuing to talk about our life update because a lot of life has happened.
So anyway, you left off last time talking about how here we are, we're at our lake house in the summers and falls. We're in South Florida in the winters. I mean, it literally was at a point where it's pretty much like full-time vacation. You know, a lot of our business endeavors are pretty self-sustaining and we're working, but not a lot. And quite frankly, I mean, we're getting a little bit bored. You can only be on vacation so long for so often and not have something purposeful and some big goals you're trying to accomplish that mean something. And we were kind of there. It's like you work hard to get to the goals, and we're living the goals now. But, I heard somebody say one time, never let accomplishing a dream steal your dream.
Well, and I think that's where we were. I mean, we'd kind of gotten to the point where we'd kind of had our season where we were healthy and we were healed and we were happy with our whole situation with the lake house. I think that's what even jumpstarted us to actually purchase our Florida home, was because we were kind of like, all right, well, we're kind of done with winters for a while, so let's go try that. And we've always wanted it, so let's just try it. And good choice on our part, by the way, but we did it. And that was really cool. If anybody has ever had the opportunity to build a home with your children, it is super cool. For our family, this was the first home we actually built together. Typically, we had bought a home that was already previously owned. So this was our first opportunity to build a home together with our tribe, to pick out everything, to be a part of it, to fly down there, to see it all.
Yeah, at different stages of growth and construction.
Different stages.
Like we had our first picture with the kids there. It was just a piece of dirt.
Right. And literally we had the opportunity to walk in when there was nothing there and be like, I think this is where your bedroom's going to be. And I think this is where ours is going to be. We had the opportunity to write scripture all underneath the drywall.
When they had everything up other than the drywall. Mm-hmm. We went in there for an afternoon one day and we all took markers and we all wrote our favorite scriptures.
All throughout the house,
so that way it would be
floors.
Behind the drywall. We knew the house would be bathed in the Word of God. And it was just a fun experience.
And all of us got to be a part of it from, at the time, she was, 2.5, 3 when we bought it. All the way up.
Probably 2, yeah.
All the way up to, you and I enjoying it. And it really was a dream come true for us. It was really, really fun. We picked out exactly the lot we wanted. So the kids were super excited. We were excited about the whole thing. And it was really a good decision for us. And when we went down, it really was, like you said, it felt like vacation, like 12 months out of 12 months for us. And it's been fun. It has been so much fun. But one of the things that happened was when we were there, we started stretching ourselves to meet other people that were achieving some of their goals in life. And we hadn't really been hanging around a lot of people achieving many of their goals. We were normally the ones setting the pace. And so even just being in our new community, we were meeting new people that were achieving their goals. And it was really exciting to see that for them, and stirred conversations between us, and some conversations that were really hard and not really easy to have, because by the end of our first season of being there, it was almost, in an exciting way to go back to the lake home because it's the lake home and it's peaceful and it's exciting. But on the flip side, we were leaving kind of a community that were going places. And so that was hard. It was really hard that first season to go back to the lake house. On the flip side, we got back to the lake house, and of course we love it. My parents are right down the road.
Yeah, we have some friends there.
We have friends there. It's so much fun to enjoy. Like you said, Midwest summers and falls. if you want to go visit the Midwest, that's when to go. It is so neat and beautiful and colorful. And I don't know, it's just a special season there. I feel like it smells like, bonfires in the fall, and it's just neat. But there we were again, and we had a deep conversation. We were in a deep conversation about.
Yeah, I mean, if being really brutally honest here, there's something about when you're high achieving people and you allow yourself to kind of slip into a state of boredom. You allow yourself to slip into a state of too much, I would say, just like luxury, complacency, comfort. We're not really built that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. We like to be able to enjoy and relax, but we're wired to be achievers. And so we hadn't really been achieving. I mean, we're doing better than a lot of people out there in our own way, but weren't really pushing for another level. We were serving people, but not at the capacity we feel like we can. And quite frankly, I've been a little bit nervous because of just some different things that I've been part of, and there was some falling outs and some hurts and stuff, and it made me a little scared about community and a little bit nervous about being mentored and dealing with some trust with that kind of stuff. And so here we are, like you said in the last episode, we're almost in a place of like, okay, well, is this just our lot in life now? Is it just going to be me and Jackie, and we're going to raise up these kids, and we're going to do some adventures, and we're going to be able to just rely on God and us, and we're just going to figure this out, and we're going to do something. And that's kind of what we were trying to do. But we just realized that, I heard somebody say one time that proper community is the soil of transformation. And we didn't really have a community that was pulling us. We had communities we were pulling, but we didn't have a community that was pulling us. And we were searching. When we say
that, it's really got to be like a healthy community.
Yeah.
That's the key to the whole thing. You can belong to any community out there.
Yeah.
But if it's not healthy.
Yeah, and for us, how we define health is somebody who's like challenging us to become more of what God made us to be. Challenging us to become more in the image of Christ in our everyday endeavors, and that's what we mean. We don't mean just somebody teaching us how to make money or something. We mean like the whole picture, like how are we really advancing in all categories of life as parents, as husband and wife, as community leaders, as business leaders, as
just society people helping those around us.
Yeah.
Really. And so we had gotten to that point where it's like, specifically, Greg and I were really battling out what we were going to do in the future. I mean, we were, I know couples out there can understand, there's times when, your communication is going well. You're both on the same page. You're kind of rolling, feeling like, oh, we're in a good season right now. And then there's some seasons where it's like, you're having some really tough conversations that are, they bring out a lot of emotion and pains, happiness, all of it, but it's hard. And it's the kind that you don't just solve overnight.
Yeah.
They're the kind that you have to continuously go back and forth with, hear each other's ideas, be open for new ideas, communicate it in a different way, think out of the box, like think about the other person's needs really above your own more than ever, and that's where our conversations were.
And, Florida gave you a taste, like you said, of
absolutely
kind of a different atmosphere and a little bit different quality of ambition, I would say, that surrounded us. We found a church that we liked. We really liked the worship, and we liked the people there. And it was more than we could find locally in Wisconsin. And so obviously that all, made us, when we came back to Wisconsin, we're like, okay, well, we're giving up a few things here.
We were missing stuff.
And what are we going to do? Like, is this going to be it? Is this always going to be our lot? And you and I were getting at it. We were arguing quite a bit because, we're at this tension point where I feel what you're feeling, but at the same time, I didn't know where we're going. So if we just give up Wisconsin, what are we doing? I know we're going to go to Florida all year, but then we also are going to deal with the rainforest of the weather down there. And
we'll get to that some other
summer.
That's a different program, babe.
And even then, we were really fully engaged in that church and didn't really see opportunity to be engaged in that church other than just going and, being served.
It was providing more than we had, but it wasn't providing everything we wanted.
Yeah.
So it was a good opportunity, just not full time.
Yeah. So I mean, just to call it what it was, you and I were having some blow up fights, like, about this. And we were both at a standstill pretty heavy. And I feel like God did a work on both of us through this season, about just trying to figure out how to get in alignment with each other about this. But the reality was, here we are. We're trying to figure something out when we don't really have a place to go. We don't really have a solution to go to. We're just kind of like not happy where we were, but didn't know what to do. And sure enough, we get to this agreement point where it's like, hey, listen, we're not going to change anything if it's not moving us forward, right? If it's not going to be some kind of advancing. So we got an agreement about it, probably with a little with gritted teeth, that we're just going to keep our situation here.
Yeah, and it was smart. I mean, we had more than just you and I to think about. As everybody knows, it's a lot different when you have children to get involved. Obviously, my parents right down the road. There was a lot more to it than just, hey, Greg and Jacquie, let's go try something new. And if you don't like it, you can always come back. But I'm really proud of us because at the same point, we had just literally, I think it was like, I'm just going to, kind of remember back in the day, but like whatever it was, 2 weeks after this huge final blowout that we had that had been going on for about 2 weeks, really for
it was
6
intense.
years. But
it was really coming to a head. And I remember you remember we went to that one, we were still exploring new churches and stuff. We went to one and we saw a family there that we hadn't seen in a while. And remember our kids, we heard our girls who at the time were, 13 or were they already 14? I don't know, around there, but it wasn't that long ago. And we were like, they were talking about how these boys are cute and stuff. And we're just thinking, but they're the only people you've seen. And so again, it was a gut check. Like, we don't have any community. Like, our kids have nothing to and we really started getting a little bit like, gosh, we got to position our family too, so they can get around people and they can get around the right kind of people. So they don't just, our kids don't just fall for just the only person that's available kind of a thing,
Yeah.
And but that was like one of those tipping points, right? We're like,
for sure.
What are we doing? Our kids are almost 14 at the time. We're going to be 16 in a minute, 18 in a sec, a minute after that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just think about it though. Look how fast it goes. And so all this factoring in, long story short, now we get to this point where we literally are like, okay, well, we don't know what we're doing. So we're just going to be at peace or pretend we're at peace with where we're at.
We're just going to agree to stop this for a while.
We're going to not argue anymore.
Right.
Let's just think
about the tension for a while.
Think about the blessings that we do have,
Yeah, and we really if you guys are in a position like that right now, we really decide, what, we're not going to put the guilt trip on each other anymore. We're not going to sit there and make each other feel bad about their position in this whole thing right now. We're not going to sit here and dwell on it every single day and forget about all the good things going on. But we are going to sit here and say, I'm not going to forget that this is important to me. So I want you to be aware, and vice versa, that I want to do more in life.
It reminds me of that scene out of Facing the Giants. If you remember where the coach and his wife are trying to have kids, and they've been trying for years.
Yeah.
And she keeps showing up at the place to have a test to see if she actually is pregnant, and it's just disappointment after disappointment. And it gets to a point where she goes and she really thinks she might be, and they give her the test and she wasn't, and she walks up to the car and she's just bawling, and she looks at the sky and she says, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you anyways. I'm going to love you anyways. Even if I never have kids, I'm still going to trust you. I'm going to love you. I'm not getting what I want, but I'm still going to love you and trust you. And then the lady walks out because they had switched the test. But it was like she had to get to that point where she could. And I feel like with us, it almost got to that point where like, all right, we're going to be okay with this. No matter what, we're going to have a good attitude. We're going to trust you anyways, God. 2 weeks later, I get a call from my friend Colin. And he's, we would just always talk back and forth just about
life updates
and stuff. He's so used to being in a position of leadership, and I wasn't under his leadership, so we had a friendship and we could kind of talk back and forth and bounce things off. And I always felt like God would always kind of talk to me about what to say to him. And so he was, he got the opportunity to go leave San Diego, which he's already fully set up. Him and his wife already fully set up, a great setup out there, about everything you could ever think about when it comes to quality of relationships and schedule and the type of lifestyle they live and everything. It's just like a dream life. And yet here they got asked, hey, we want to expand our church over in Boise, Idaho. And they're like us. They're like, where's that?
No doubt.
And, but it's this opportunity, but it was going to require a pretty big sacrifice. You go from being established, you go from being a leader, you go from, having their level of success over there, you're going to have to like pick up and start over. And big deal, right? And I remember though, when he's talking to me and he's evaluating this, he's asking what I thought. And I remember just like instantly feeling the download that's like, Colin, you need to go. Just simply because you're a pioneer. It's what you do. You go places and you use your leadership ability and you help grow areas, and then you position people in leadership and you equip people, and you're so skilled. You have a gifting for it. But once it gets established, then what? You need the next thing to establish. And so he tells us a few days after that call, he's like, yeah, we're making the decision. We're going. And I remember thinking, wow, geez. It was so inspiring to me, to be honest with you.
I bet.
Like it almost brought tears to me when I heard him say this. Like, I was like, wow, man, he's a little bit older than me, not much. And I'm 49 right now. He's a couple years older than me, I think. And here he is at this age of all the accomplishment he already has, when the world teaches you to try to retire and everything else because you can. He's like, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting revved up, man. There's a new mission. There's a new call. There's a new thing to do for God's kingdom. We've been prayerful about this. We feel like this is opportunity for us to go out there and use our giftings. And it was so inspiring because I'm just like, who else are my age, is really, do I know that's doing that kind of thing? And I'm just like, man, like, you go. And then, he basically comes back and he says, well, since we're going, maybe you and Jackie should come. And I just remember like getting the biggest
I know what you thought. I know what you thought.
What did I think?
Yeah, I know what you thought.
Which is?
Jackie was right and I was wrong. It's time for us to move.
Of course, that's how you would interpret it.
That's exact. And you're like, and I got to let her know.
Actually, I was thinking, Jackie was so off. If she would have just waited a little bit, we would have had direction.
Bet you didn't.
Anyway, but he says this, and then I remember, like, you got to remember when we were fighting about leaving the lake house, not leaving the lake house 2 weeks prior. I was dead set on we're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah.
You wanted to go. I was dead set on we are not going anywhere, to the point where it was like stand off, and so 2 weeks later, I get this call. I pray about it. I know, like, almost instantly. And I remember telling you.
Yeah, and what did I do?
We're in the same area in our master bedroom overlooking the lake that we just were arguing for 2 weeks straight almost. And, and I remember telling you, so I think we're supposed to sell the lake house. And you looked at me like, this is not funny, because I have a tendency to joke around a little bit. And you probably thought I was just goofing around. And you're like, what are you talking about, right?
Oh, I was wondering what you were talking about.
And then I explained to you the whole scenario, and I just told you, like, I really, really think we're supposed to go, but I want you to be in agreement. I want you to pray about this. And, you were on board really quickly as well. I don't know, though, you kept testing me, like, are you sure? Are you sure about this? Because, again, we were just so...
You're so adamant.
Adamantly fighting.
Adamant. And we'll get to it, but it's funny how even when you felt so convicted right then, Satan tries to come in and steal. Because you had already said, I think we're supposed to do this. And I cautiously said, are you sure? Because you were so adamant, literally 24 hours before this call, that we were never going to leave this area right now. And so once we kind of said, you said, yeah. And I said, okay. It was like, then let's start looking for a home. And we'll get to all that, because that's a whole nother journey in itself. Where... at one point, Satan tried to steal your conviction that you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And, but thank you, Jesus, for, again, good people in our lives that can speak over us and remind us what we really want, because we were able to get down that path and really move on from it. So I want to get into the next episode a little bit about how you and I obviously communicated this through and kind of got our hearts right about it. And then how we kind of present it to the kids, because, we felt very convicted that this was the right choice for us, but, our little tribe matters so much to us. And, we didn't want to just tell them, suck it up, buttercup, we're leaving. This is how we're doing it. We really wanted to go through it with them and really explain to them how God is moving in our immediate family. And what it looks like for our future and for their future. And that he loves us so much that he chose us to go on this journey together.
So that's the cliffhanger for the next episode. We'll see you then. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. And we have great news. You get more of us. You can expect new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. So be sure to consistently tune in with us and enjoy our show. See you next time.